Well, good morning, everybody. Today is Easter Sunday, and I am going to be spending my Easter right here in this kitchen. There's no lambs, there's no lamb cake, there's no family, there's no nothing, but you guys are all in the same boat as I, so it doesn't make any difference. We're going to do this together, one way or the other. Since I can't be with folks on Easter, I decided to paint my hair Easter egg color. What do you think? Pink and purple, why not, right? When we were kids growing up, Easter used to be one of my dad's very favorite holidays. We would color 144 eggs. It's 12 dozen eggs that we would color. We would all be in just bathing suits and paper on the table. It was wonderful. As we aged up and we got to be young women and young adults, Daddy still loved Easter, so he would sit there like patron, and we would serve eggs and keep all of his colored cups going. It was just absolutely spectacular. After he died, we kept going to the mausoleum and releasing balloons until we realized how dangerous that is. But we would hang out and drink mimosas and release our balloons. We did that for many years after he died to celebrate. And now, 2020, I'm surrounded by family, but not in my place, and I can't be with anybody. A lot of you are spending Easter by yourselves as well, so we just got to do whatever we got to do to make it work, right? So I'm making it work. The hair is helping. Now, what we're going to do today is something a little bit different. About a year ago, I discovered this wonderful instrument called a, what the fuck is this called? Well, little brain fart there. This is a sous vide. This little item is going to cook a cut of beef so brilliantly, and I'm not going to use any fire, not at all. We're going to cook this. I have a beautiful filet that I stripped, and it's all, you know, it's just perfect. We're going to put a little salt on this. We're going to put a little pepper on this, because that's just good. And I'm going to cook this in a bucket of water with this thing on my countertop. Are you curious? Here's what you do. Mildly flavor your meat. This is a beef tenderloin, so it's perfect. I'm going to take that raw piece of meat and put it in a bag that I'm going to vacuum seal. This is going to sound like hell, so I'm going to turn off the camera while I'm vacuum sealing it. Stand by. Okay. I sucked all the air out of that bag with this food saver, which I love these things. These are awesome. Come on, seal, finish up. I didn't time this right. Oh. This bag is sealed, nice and tight. No air is getting in or getting out. So all I'm going to do is, this is hot water, just to cut down on the time a little bit. I'm going to shove this piece of meat in here. Shit, I forgot something. And now I'm back. So the piece of meat that's sealed is in the hot water. You can see how deep this is. There's, you know, a lot. It's pretty deep. Then I'm going to put the sous vide in there and attach that. And I know how to cook a steak to perfection in the sous vide because I do this all the time. So I happen to know for a nice piece of filet, you need the sous vide set at 150 degrees for 1 hour. So I'll set the time. Oops, too much. 150. Here's the timer. Blah, 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 fly me. Oh, there we go. And hit on. Boom. You can't hear it, but I'll shut the fuck up. You hear the whirring? It's whirring. This is a water circulator, that's all it is. Now I'm gonna cover it up because this water's gonna get pretty hot and it's gonna disappear, it's gonna evaporate. Where it's very, very good for your skin, you have to pay attention because this will stop if the water level gets too low. So I don't want it too low. Then by covering up, you trap all that in there. So this is gonna heat and cook for 1 hour, and it's gonna be a perfectly cooked steak that we're gonna finish another way. Because when it comes out of here, it's gonna be perfection, but it's gonna look like horseshit. So I'll show you how we make it pretty afterwards. But I promise you, this is gonna be the best meat you ever ate. While I'm waiting for the hour to start to cook this to perfection, you know, watch a movie, walk around, get the rest of your food organized for the rest of your meal. I'm gonna have candied carrots, so I'm gonna clean and sliver some carrots. I'm gonna cook those in butter and oil and sugar. You know, why should today be any different? And I'm going to serve this with a fresh cranberry sauce that I made yesterday. That's a whole other thing. But in the meantime, you know, do something with yourself. Who cares? Do a little soft shoe, call your mother, talk about Easter, go outside, take a walk. I got an hour. If I'm gone for 2 hours, it's not gonna matter. This will still be perfection, even though it cooked for 2 hours instead of 1. Here's why. The temperature that you select determines the doneness. How done is this? I like medium rare. So this is gonna come out medium rare. The time that you leave it in determines the tenderness. So it's never gonna go past a medium rare because it'll turn on to just a keeping warm setting. These are brilliant. I've tried them with vegetables. Ugh, I've tried it with fish. Nah, not so good. But with meat and chops and lamb and anything non-vegetarian, this is perfection. So happy Easter. I got, 55 minutes to wait. So I'll prep some other stuff and I'll be back. One more thing. I'm gonna give you a link to where you can buy this wonderful thing at the end. But for now, I'm just gonna move it off my board because I need to do some other stuff here. But sous vide cooking is just the best. Happy Easter. Okie dokie, while that's cooking, I've just peeled a couple of carrots. It's just me today. So I'm going to chop those up like this, not too fat, not too thin, so that they're gonna start cooking at the same rate. Do this any way you want to. If you've got one of those, if you're a fancy lady and you have one of those wonderful little julianne machines, that'll do it for you, and do that. Who gives a shit? But I don't, and so I'm gonna do it by hand. I've got a pot working over there. I'm gonna put about this much butter in there to melt, and I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil because, as I told you yesterday, olive oil, you need to be eating a tablespoon or so a day of olive oil. It's so good for you. It won't put any weight on, so I just use it to cook everything, right? All right, so there we go. So there's my carrots. I'm gonna cook these in a very similar fashion to the way I did the green beans, which is, I'm not gonna boil them or steam them first. None of that is necessary because I wanna get a little char on them. So when you put butter and oil together, I don't know the right wording for this, but it raises the heat factor thing, or I don't know, they fucking work off each other one way or the other, so it doesn't burn. You still gotta watch the height of the flame, but if you use just butter, it's gonna burn a lot faster than if you use butter and oil together. That's science, kids. I don't understand how it works, I just know it works. Toss in the carrots. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Toss in the coat. And then walk the fuck away. You don't want to stir those up too much. Because you just don't. You want to get that char on there. So I shall let that happen. At the very end of this cooking process for the carrots, we're going to add brown sugar. So that's very similar. It's good with garlic. It's good with fresh ginger. Again, I'm giving you basics. These are pearls, though, people. I'm giving you basics. Add whatever the fuck you want. It's all good. Okay? All right. Well, how could I be so stupid? You also add salt, soy, and my favorite, red pepper flakes. Hot and sweet together is genius. Okay, now I'm really leaving. Okay, these are nicely charred. See that? See? Isn't that pretty? Okay, here's what we're gonna do to finish this off. I don't even need this on anymore because they're perfectly cooked. I'm going to add, you know what looks good? Pine nuts are always good in here. Why not? Throw them in. I found some chives in my fridge that if I don't use them today, they're going in the can. So throw those around. You don't really cook them. And I have about a tablespoon of brown sugar, and that goes in. Stir it around. The heat is off, just the heat of the pan. And the carrots is what's going to cook that. And that is ready to eat. And you will not believe how good they are. Now, while that's just sitting there, the sous vide steak is cooking beautifully. According to what I can see here, it's got another, come on, 38 minutes to cook. So while that's cooking, let me tell you about this cranberry sauce that I make. It's fresh cranberries, which you can't find now. I have this left over from before. And you boil that in 2 cups of water and 1 cup of sugar, only for about 10 minutes or so. Then you put that in the refrigerator overnight. The next morning, you drain it through like a cheesecloth or something of that nature. And then you can save the liquid if you want for whatever. I just toss it. But then you take those drained, cooked, sugared, cranberries, and you mix it with a handful of sweet basil, regular basil, 2 or 3 green onions chopped small, the juice of 2 limes, and that's it. It's the most delicious thing you've ever had. If you're one of those people that only eats cranberry sauce once or twice a year out of a can, oh Lordy, you don't know what you're missing, because that sauce is also super delicious with eggs. It's a great breakfast thing. It looks like this. Kind of looks like it's been down once, right? But trust me. Oh my God, that's so good. So my meal is going to be beef tenderloin with the candied carrots and the candied, everything's candied today because I don't have an Easter bunny. So I have to do something for myself. So I'm doing a sweet meal. So I'll show you how we finish off this tenderloin and make a beautiful meal. But until then, I'll back away. Whatever. Okay, I've been notified by the I have been notified by the sous vide that the meat is cooked. But I was busy vacuuming, perhaps you noticed, and it breezed right by me. So it's very, very simple what you do from here. Turn it off. Turn it off. There you go. This is hot. This water is 150 degrees. So it comes out, otaze, as we say. This is perfectly cooked. I'm gonna let it get a little cooler before I show you what to do from here. So while I'm letting that get cooler, I'm gonna clean the kitchen and put this all away. I don't know, I may do laundry. Who the fuck cares? Okay, I think it's cool enough for me to handle now. Yeah, okay. Here's what you do with that. Take the meat, whatever you cooked, out of the sous vide. Okay? And dry it off a little bit. Just give it a little, you know? Now, it's perfectly cooked, as I mentioned, but it's ugly. It's not pretty, right? It doesn't look like anything. If I was served this in a restaurant, I would send it back immediately. So we gotta finish it. And here's how you finish it. I'm using the same pan that I cooked the carrots in. I didn't change it in any way. I didn't wash it, so all those flavors are still in there. Then I'm gonna take this perfectly cooked piece of beef, tenderloin, filet mignon, put whatever words you want on it, and I'm going to cover it don't be grossed out, with a thin layer of mayonnaise. Why? Because we have to sear. We have to sear this meat. We have to give it that beautiful char, like what you would get in a restaurant. It's not going to cook any further in the pan because it's just going to go in for a moment or so just to get attractive. So I'm going to put it in upside down, and when I do that, I'm going to add mayonnaise to the other side. You can sear with butter, with oil, with whatever you want, but this kind of has everything you need in it. It's not going to taste like a mayonnaise sandwich, I promise you. But there's something about a mayo sear on this that's super duper good. So let me flip shit around. Okay, that pan is super hot. Don't touch it. Take this piece of meat, you hear that? And just let it sizzle in there. Yum. Take a little mayonnaise, you don't need a lot, and put it on the other side. I may have used a little too much. Now, sometimes I like to do this. I don't know if there's enough gas in this or not, but I have a torch. Oh, and I like to get the sides with a torch. It's just pretty. And as I said, I don't want to cook this too much. So I want to get those sides a little darker. The hotter you make the flame, the better it's gonna cook up. Okay. Look at that. So we'll get some char on the other side, and then we're gonna plate this sucker. Nice. Stand by. Okay, we're ready. I'm gonna start by putting a little bit of that cranberry concoction on the bottom of a plate. I just love beef and cranberry together. It's just good. Then I'm gonna take this perfectly cooked, perfectly finished, look at that, piece of steak. Put that on there. Then we have the carrots and the chives and the pine nuts. I guarantee you this is all going to disappear in moments. Look at that. If you ask me, this is the most perfect Easter meal. I will tell you how to make everything. I will tell you where to buy everything. And I will tell you, please enjoy yourself. Enjoy your life. Happy Easter. What are you going to do for somebody else today? Maybe you go get a little chocolate bunny and you bring it to a neighbor. Or you just, watch the kids finding their Easter eggs. Or you say a prayer. Or you vacuum your floor, do your laundry. I don't know. Do something for somebody. Thanks for hanging out with me today, kids. I'll see ya. Ooh, I gotta go eat. Oh my God. I'm insane. I have to show you what it looks like on the inside. Because once I cut into this, I'm going whole hog. Look at that. Medium rare, exactly how I like it. Edge to edge perfection. It's not dried on the edges and soft and gooey on the inside. It's perfectly cooked. And if you start with a good cut of meat, that's what you'll end with. If you're cooking, a shoulder or a rump roast or something that is tough, you cook it for 13 hours on whatever the temperature. There's a lot of websites for this. If you're cooking a turkey, I know a guy who cooked a 20-pound turkey in a giant vacuum seal bag, and his container was a 5-pound box of kitty litter that carried the kitty litter. Be clever. You don't need fire. Sous vide is wonderful. The food that comes out of it is delicious. Enjoy yourselves, guys. Happy Easter, and I'll see ya tomorrow.